Thanks, Jonathan. And if it's okay, I'll take the Chief Executive Report and the COVID update because they're overlapping. And I'll just, rather than reiterate what's in the report, maybe give the sort of overview of the latest information. The report clearly indicates that the second wave has hit the trust a lot harder than the first wave. Report indicates that at the peak we had twice as many patients in the trust than, more than twice as many patients in the trust than at the peak of the first wave. But if you look at the volume under the curve, we actually had 3 times more patients in the second wave in the trust than in the first wave. So it's been a significant pressure on the trust, and especially for those staff members who were working in the COVID-19 areas, including, of course, the level 2, level 3 critical care units, which were taking patients from, I must say, almost all over the country, not just the Southeast region, but far beyond that. So I certainly want to thank the staff members that have been working extremely hard, starting in December, but going well into actually still this month, dealing with a large volume of patients needing oxygen, but also critical care. And that was very burdensome, I must say, on the whole organization. So I want to thank everyone who was involved in that response. We were thanked publicly by the NHS England team, but also by all of the trusts that were able to rely on the services of the trust during this second wave, ranging from receiving nice letters to the clinical teams receiving muffins from some of the other clinical teams that referred into the trust. So there's always a bit of a silver lining when things are tough. We were certainly thanked for the services that we've given to our patients, but also to the teams across the country. We're actually pretty proud if you look at what's in the report, but we'll have more discussions today. Despite the pandemic, we've been very busy building. And if you walk around the trust, you'll see that our A&E departments, both in the John Radcliffe as well as at the Horton, have expanded significantly and look very bright and colorful, with lots of people busy taking care of patients. So the space is a lot larger. It's a lot more patient and staff friendly. It's loaded with screens and digital equipment and new scanners. So it's pretty impressive what we've done in terms of improving the services for the A&E departments. But we've also about to open on level 5 in the John Radcliffe single rooms with frequent air changes, which will help us to be in a better place to deal with any future sort of waves of this pandemic or any future pandemics. And of course, the board does know that we received approval of the business case for a new critical care building, which will be constructed on the John Radcliffe site next to the trauma building. But besides sort of the emergency and critical care services, we're also developing a new unit for hemophilia on the Knox site. There's a renal ward in construction on the Churchill site. So besides COVID-19 and the response, I just want to emphasize that we've been providing services in many other areas. All the urgent emergency services have kept going. Of course, cancer, maternity, etc., have been offering their services throughout the pandemic. And some of them had to deal with pretty disruptive works that went on while they were providing those services. So it's been, from that point of view, again, I want to thank the staff of working in these pretty disruptive circumstances, but hopefully we'll come out of this a lot stronger going forward. The report clearly also highlights all of the contributions that the university and the trust have made around the vaccine development, but also I want to emphasize the testing program, where we've been leading quite a lot of the validations of tests, but also the piloting of new testing approaches, with some very high-profile publications coming out of the testing program. We've been testing quite a lot of medications to see whether they were working against COVID or not. And again, some breakthroughs came out of that program of work, which I think is a real tribute to the science, not just in Oxford, but throughout the UK, and many universities and NHS institutions have been working together to come to a place where we now have vaccinated quite a large number of people across the country, but we also have been able to offer vaccinations to all staff members before the end of January, which is a pretty astonishing statistic if you know that we started with the first clinical trial on the vaccination on the 23rd of April last year. And we admitted our first COVID-19 patient in February of last year. So before we reached those milestones this year, we were able to offer vaccination to all of our staff members. That's really also helped us to build some hope with staff, because it's been a very dark winter, a very difficult winter, but the vaccination program has offered hope. And we've invested quite a lot of time and effort and discussions with staff members, how we can allow them to recover from this difficult period and give them indeed some hope on a better future within the trust, with better working environment and better tools. And certainly we've been able to offer some of that hope with the vaccine program, but also the major investments that we were able to complete during the pandemic. I'll leave it at that, Chair, and I already see a few hands up, so I'll be happy to answer any questions.